when a project is declared. For example, in pre-independence, Godavari and Krishna had lot of water which is going to the sea. Arthur Cotton said, this water is going to the sea. There is only single crop happening in the year. If we put a small barrage, this water can be accumulated and sent into the farms. He had put it in the British Parliament, got permission from the British Parliament to build it, and they asked, how much are you investing? How much returns are you going to get? And you won't believe that the investment made in that canal, they received it within a year. And the entire belt of Krishna Godavari had become so wealthy that the impact of that man's decision runs till today, where education became very important in that locality. Medical facilities became very important in that locality. Today, if most of the engineers and doctors if you see in the 50s and the 60s came out from that place. And today the software engineer in the South is because of certain little decisions taken probably 100, 200 years ago. The medical facilities in the South are very good because of these decisions taken a few years ago. Next question will go to Shmuel Yerushalmi.
Okay, thanks. Very interesting presentation. And I want to ask you next question. What, according to you, needed to be a role of governments and state authorities in the resolution of problems of water? What needed to be a role of governments and authorities in resolution problems of water scarcity? Thank you.
You're saying what is the role of the government in solving the water crisis, right? Yeah, in fact, government, of course, has a very crucial role to play, no doubt about it, because they are all deciding our lives and running day-to-day affairs, starting from the local councils, which are supplying us the water, cleaning the water, all the policy making, right? So government, in fact, has the most important role to play. But the reason why I didn't focus much is our control is limited on that. The only control we have is, we can do advocacy, we can go and request them, we can request the political representatives, make some appeals. It is limited to that extent because none of us are government officials. So we can always, keep making our appeals to them for policy changes. But again, when it comes to implementation, it's in their hands.
I add a little bit out here.
Yeah.
I must thank erstwhile Chief Minister Dr. Rajshekar Reddy Garu for bringing a lot of investment in water projects. However, there was a time when we had politicians who wanted to make a difference in the country. The Chief Minister before that, Mr. CBN, had made an impact on the IT. Similarly, Rajshekar Reddy Garu made an impact on the water situation in Andhra Pradesh, erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. However, what went right and what went wrong, in my opinion, I'd like to share. When a project is declared, for example, in pre-independence, Godavari and Krishna had lot of water which is going to the sea. Arthur Cotton said, this water is going to the sea. There is only single crop happening in the year. If we put a small barrage, this water can be accumulated and sent into the farms. He had put it in the British Parliament, got permission from the British Parliament to build it, and they asked, how much are you investing? How much returns are you going to get? And you won't believe that the investment made in that canal, they received it within a year. And the entire belt of Krishna Godavari had become so wealthy that the impact of that man's decision runs till today, where education became very important in that locality. Medical facilities became very important in that locality. Today, if most of the engineers and doctors if you see in the 50s and the 60s came out from that place. And today the software engineer in the South is because of certain little decisions taken probably 100, 200 years ago. The medical facilities in the South are very good because of these decisions taken a few years ago. Now, great that the Chief Minister decided to invest in water projects. But the mistakes that have been done are, they don't calculate if this project, if you spend and you develop it, are we going to get returns on the amount spent on that project? No longer is it a chief engineer's decision, but a political decision to start a project because somebody has a village there, somebody has a constituency there. Because of which, today we are pumping water, spending 5,000 crores on electricity and pumping water in Telangana and sending is, if along with that, if they would have actually said that this water is only for drinking, not for paddy growing. So water which should be used for drinking water is being used for growing paddy. Farmers are very happy. However, the decision by the government, which is not well thought through, is impacting the environment. Coal is being burnt for that electricity. Because running water is coming, the villages no longer are bothered about their water tanks. No more are the water committees in the villages functioning. And you will be surprised, these water tanks which are there in the village now are being closed up and being given away by the government to build homes for the underprivileged to get votes. You must go to a village called Mork in West Godavari district. You will see a mosque built in the center of the tank. The awareness, there is no one to question. There is no one to ask. Why are erstwhile water tanks where families, the villagers must have come together and donated that land to build a water tank is being donated back. And then what is the mechanism, Anil Karu, what is the mechanism to protest about all this? Do you have any idea?
Absolutely no. We have to just use the social organization channel. We also tried our best and we have not been very successful in that actually. I really don't have any powerful idea for this. Yeah.
We'll continue. Now, talking about government policy to give Narega scheme, government policy to give freebies today has made Andhra Pradesh, no farm worker that you will see in these locations are from Andhra Pradesh. You will be surprised to hear, when I went to a restaurant in Hyderabad, the watchman doesn't know Telugu, the waiter doesn't know Telugu, the supervisor doesn't know Telugu, the manager doesn't know Telugu. I asked, how dare you have a restaurant in Hyderabad and you don't have anybody speaking Telugu? He said, we are ready to give Telugu people jobs, but most of them are drunk because they get freebies. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., all the alcohol shops are open. Nobody wants to work and they are getting, each family is getting per person 15,000 a month on various schemes. So the government policy to give freebies, the government policy to give a Narega scheme has killed the farm workers. Farmers are crying that I would rather convert my farmlands into real estate than do farming. And today, the entire East-West Godavari belt, which was actually growing sugarcane, has stopped growing sugarcane. Whereas in the Telangana regions, because of this pumping housing pumps that are happening, sugarcane is being grown. Because wrong government policies, the land is being converted into cash crops, into trees, or mango trees, or coconut trees, or cocoa, or whatever. And paddy is suffering. Sugarcane is become non-existent in certain areas. So this is how government policy in these areas have hurt. Then rainwater harvesting. Ms. Jayalalitha came with a brilliant law on rainwater harvesting. But this is not being implemented in Andhra or Telangana. Nobody even cares whether it is being implemented or not. Yes, we all crib, we all cry. But when we have to spend that money, I'm ready to spend 2 lakhs on a sari or on a clothes or on a holiday, but I'm not ready to spend 2 lakhs to make that water harvesting pit. The consciousness and the awareness of the society is not there. Does that cover how the government can involve themselves? There's one more policy. The Green Revolution has said that we should grow, that the rice is a rich man's food and millets is a poor man's food. Only rice should be available to everybody. The consequence of which is, in India, diabetes is a major ailment. Today, there are people who have sacrificed their lives. Sridhar Irivanti, one of our old speaker, he was just earning money in dollars abroad. He bought 4 crores of his savings into India and developed millets from scratch in and around this area. These are common people like you and me who have tried to develop millets. For 15-20 years, he worked in his life to bring back millets into the mainstream. So this government policy of giving subsidy to rice. So whether there is a demand or not, the subsidies that the governments give dictate what is grown rather than the market dictating what is needed. Another thing I have noticed is about the governments, about the water maps in India. There is a methodology of tracking every tank in the country, every river in the country, every lake in the country, every catchment area in the country. The government has the wherewithal to map it. Just like they have bought in Dharani, where lands are being mapped in, there is a need to map in all the water channels of our country. This demand, unless it comes from the public, it won't become a reality. Right now, I'm surprised, but a lot of foreign agencies are more interested in knowing about our water situation than our own country and our own men and our own governments. We are not cataloging all this. They are doing it. Another thing I want to thank is Ms. Jayalalitha, the ex-chief minister, has bought in the desalination plant in Chennai, which meets 40% of Chennai's water needs. Now, of course, probably it was not economically viable, but her foresight to do it. And I wanted to talk about IVRCL Sudhir Reddy Garu, a good friend of mine, in honor of him. He's the one who's actually built the desalination plant. There are many industrialists, there are many infrastructure who really want to do a good job, but our environment does not allow people. Today, we have a fantastic GMR airport in Hyderabad. It's because the politicians of that time allowed the industrials to show their self-expression. Similarly, we must thank him for allowing us to have a desalination plant in Chennai. This man needs our respect. Yashmi, does this cover what is happening in India and about the government's role?
Yeah, that's very impressive. Thank you very much. Very impressive plans and programs. And I see India in really trying to resolve this important problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.